Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. Today's podcast is about our stress. How do we handle stress using mindfulness? I want to start with the story. People ask, what is the difference between stress and worry? Worry is an incomplete thought, stress is an incomplete action. What do we mean by that? Uh, let's say there is a person who is always worried about uh, something bad happening to them. Now, if they do a logical thought experiment and they walk through it completely, so the worry is, oh, it's going to rain, and I'm going to get soaked in the rain, and then I'm going to fall sick, and they stop there. They do not say, okay, if I fall sick, next time, how will I prepare for it? Next time, how will I move forward with this? Next time, I will be more prepared for this. That would be a good way to handle that worry pattern. The worry pattern is always an incomplete half thought, which is not fully analyzed, which is not fully lived, and fear is infused into it. That results in a lot of stress because you're like, I'm scared, I don't want to do this. The next part of that is the fear that comes with it, right? And and also the anxiety. Oh my god, it's going to rain. When I look at the clouds, oh my god, it's going to rain today. That anxiety that comes because of this incomplete thought pattern, because of all these things that are happening simultaneously. You have just put all these things together simultaneously, and it has now become a huge snowball. You don't know where to begin with. If we actually slow down, we will see worry is nothing but an incomplete thought. But stress is incomplete action. Stress is actually a sense of combined sense of pressure, sense of burden, sense of it's like a you want to flee from it. Sometimes it is involving fear, and it also involves flight. It is a lot of emotions together. So today we'll talk a little bit about shifting ourselves from that, how we can shift our responsibility, the fear oriented responsibility that we have taken, how we can shift it into a higher authority by mindfulness. And that is how we will grow out of this discomfort, out of this pain, out of this pattern. Whenever we are stressed, it means we have not digested something. It can be a thought, it can be an emotional reaction, it can be anything, something that is not digested within us results in this entire feeling of stress. Something I don't understand, something I don't know, somehow I feel stressed about this whole thing. That stress is that incompleteness. That stress is something that did not happen. It's an action related thing. Sometimes we are stressed about the result of the action. Sometimes we are expecting something to happen and something else happens. And we are like, oh, I'm stressed because last time I did this, I got this, I don't want to get this. All those things, it's the way you can bring it out. The common result of why we have stress is because we have an attachment. We are either afraid of something happening, or we fear that, oh my god, this will not happen, so I'm stressed. So there is either a greed attached to it, or there is a fear attached to it. Stress is our own inability or our slowness. I wouldn't call it inability, I would say it is our slowness. We are very slow in being able to digest whatever is happening in our life. Our pace of life is very slow, very, very fast now. We have to be in the flight mode, or we have to have, everybody expects us to stand up and fight, or just say, you know what, I just can't take it, I want to flee. You're always caught between this: should I fight it? Should I run away? Should I handle it? Should I not? You never have enough time to digest this whole thing. You never have enough time to say, let me take few minutes, let me sit with it, let me understand what is happening to me before I say something. We are also stressed because we're constantly reacting. We don't have time to reflect on something. We don't know whether we want to be attached to that feeling or we can detach ourselves from that feeling. So, stress has so many layers to it. When we look at it mindfully, maybe I should tell a story here so it will make it more clear by how I mean that we can handle this stress. There was once a banker. Um, his boss usually used to be the one, he's a clerk in the bank, and his boss is the one who used to all the time lock the doors and bring the cash home and take it back every day. So once his boss said, I'm sick, I'm not going to be coming for the next week. Now you should be in charge of this. Now this man's neck started paining, his hand started paining, his shoulders started paining, his whole body started paining, his joints started paining. Why? Because he was envisioning thieves coming to his house, somebody snatching the bag away when he was going home, his house burning down, somebody murdering his family for that money. All those visions he had, many visions he's having. All of them negative, all of them fear based, all of them causing intense stress for him. He doesn't have time to sit down and say how stupid or how far each one of these wild imaginations are. He doesn't have time for that because this is fast. His fear is creating scenarios so fast, so fast, so fast. He doesn't know how to stop them. He doesn't know how to handle them. So he just says, I can't take this anymore. And then he goes to his boss and he phones his boss and he tells him, I can't do this anymore. Please appoint somebody. I just cannot take this kind of pressure anymore. This is too much for me. I think this my whole family is in danger because of what I'm doing. So please take this responsibility from me. So the boss tells him, Arey, don't worry. This is not something you have to be worried about. The responsibility of this cash, if it gets stolen, if somebody hits you in that process, you will be taken care of. And that responsibility of the lost cash is not yours. The moment the man hears this, his whole attitude changes. He's able to sleep well in the night. He's not yelling at his family. He is more relaxed in everything he does because he knows now he has shifted the responsibility to a higher authority. His entire responsibility of this cash, of carrying this cash, has been shifted to an higher authority. So, when there is a stress related to your responsibility, if we shift it to a higher authority, we become more relaxed. We are able to do more. That is the essence of this little story on stress with responsibility. But you may say, no, 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 it is not like that. Stress doesn't usually come from one thing. I cannot identify just one thing from which stress comes. Ma, you don't know, Ma. What are you talking? Life is not like that. Life is very complex. It is very complicated. I have the pressure to perform. I want to perform. Some of this is my own pressure. Some of this is a pressure that is put on me by my work, by my position. And I feel the burden of that. I feel the burden of everybody who is telling me that this is the way I need to perform. My whole life has just become a series of pressure, burden, and stress. I feel purposeless in my life. I feel nothing in my life will work for me. I feel that nobody really understands me. They don't understand my pressure. They don't understand the stress I'm going through. They don't understand the burden I'm carrying. I'm carrying physical burden. I am carrying mental stress. I am carrying lot of physical, mental, even emotional stress, isolation. All this has led to purposelessness in my life. How do we handle that situation? Whenever we experience purposelessness in our life, the best way to focus is to intensely focus on how we can be useful to our society. Let us become more and more supportive of other people. It is difficult that we are going through the same thing, and here we are saying we are going to go and support other people. How does that work, right? The way it works is, when you go on helping other people, your situations also get clarified. But that does not mean, if you are the only earning member in your family and then you are taking care of your family and you're going through stress, it doesn't mean I'm going to quit everything and I'm not going to I'm going to just take care of other people. No, it's not like that. You do whatever you have to do, you do without getting stressed, without attaching an expectation to it. That stickiness of expectation is what we need to sort out. That pressure comes from your self expectation that you will be doing something in a way that works for you. That burden that you carry is an expectation that you forced on yourself, saying, I will do this by this time. How can we talk to ourselves out of this stress? The conversation we should have with ourselves is like this. We could say, and we should try always to say, I'm always going to give my best, but I don't know the result of it. I don't want to be attached to the expectation when I do anything. I want to be free of all expectations. I just want to enjoy what I'm doing now. I'll repeat. Before we undertake any task, if we understand the beginning point and the end point of this, then we tell ourselves, my goal is to go from here to here. And This is the path I'm going to take to go from here to here. And when I go from here to here, I may have ups, I may have downs, but I am committed to staying in that process. I'm committed to moving forward in that process. But I'm going to do it without any expectation that, oh, I will feel so great, these people will praise me and these people will support me. No. You plan how to go from point A to point B by yourself based on your skills, based on your capacity, and based on your ideas. You go from point A to point B only using yourself. People are welcome to come with you. You're not going to say no to them. You will not stick expectations to yourself, which will cause pressure and stress for you. Try this. Because the more clear we are when we take up a job, saying we are going to move from point A to point B, the more clear we are that we are not going to attach any expectations to get the job done. Does it mean you should not feel happy that you got the job done? No. It just means you are happy that you're doing the job. You're happy when you start the job. You're like, yes, I get this opportunity to showcase my skill. I get this opportunity to grow myself. I get this opportunity to be a wonderful person, or to share, or to grow, or to care, whatever you want to say. You do it with that expectation that you are in this journey to do it. Then the stress, the expectation, the pressure will automatically come down. You can try this technique. The other thing is, before we begin any action, we should remove any expectation from our inner space. Not the expectation that you will complete it. That is known. You already know this job ends when you reach point B from point A. You already know that. The stress that is in our inner space is because we have somehow got some attachment to something. So before you start a task, take a few minutes, take a nice long breather and sit and say, how can I be enjoying my journey today? How can I be in that space where I can contribute more and more to people's? How can I enrich them? Just doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to do anything new. I'm not going to do anything extra. But doing what I am doing, how can I enrich more people? Constantly be in that space and make a declaration. You make a declaration. Today I am going to try this. What you're going to try. Today I'm going to create that vacuum of no stress, which means what? I know I have to go from point A to point B. I know I have the skills, or I know these are the skills I need, and I'm going to get those skills. Or I know how I'm going to get there from point A to point B. I've planned all those things. And now I am going to be responsible for taking us from point A to point B based on what I've already done. So you do not feel unnecessary pressure and stress and things like that. But things have a way of, not working out sometimes. You might say, okay, I set up the whole thing and my computer didn't work. I started this whole thing and something went wrong. When those kind of things happen, what do? You take a deep breath and you take a minute to gather all the facts and reflect on it. Do not react. If you immediately react, it will be a very, um, it will be like an anger. We don't want anger. We want to reflect, be thoughtful. We don't want our inner space to feel unfulfilled, to be unsettled. We want to be in the deep bliss even when we are doing our best. Even when we are huffing and puffing, and even when the going gets very tough, we operate from that space of what is it that I need to do now. Reflect and then act. Have complete thoughts. Decide that when I do this, I will not attach expectations. I'll give you an example. Every time I come to do this podcast, I don't know how many will come live to watch. I don't know how many might watch later. I don't know how many people might like it, might not like it. But I'm showing up and I'm sharing my understanding, my finding, and I'm hoping that a lot of women will find these useful for them. I've decided I will slow down. Why? Because sometimes we need these moments where we need to be slow, where we can absorb everything, where we can enjoy the journey. If I'm taking a flight, I will only know point A to point B. I will not know what is happening in between because I'm flying at a fast pace. I'm also probably flying at a very great height. If I'm taking train, and if I decide to, instead of doing it in 2 hours, I decide to do it in 8 hours, I will see much more. But even that is even faster. But if I decide to drive a car, it may take a whole day. But when I get there, I can tell you precisely which place I like the best in this journey, which scenery I enjoyed the most, which interaction enriched me. That is the absolute beauty of slowing down. And when we slow down and we decide to enjoy life, we feel less stressed. So there will be moments in our life where so many things are happening around us. So many things are moving at a fast pace, and people are putting all these expectations, and they're putting pressure and stress. And you just have to say, now is the time for me to take a deep breath, to just close my eyes for a minute and just feel that bliss within me. Let me feel that spot. Let me find that spot. Let me take care of that spot. Are you feeling okay? The moment we take a deep breath and we close our eyes and we center ourselves, we recenter ourselves into that little grain of bliss that we have within us, that little joy of happiness that we have within us, and that little things that make us happy, we will immediately find stability within us. We find strength. We find courage. We find that we are able to do more and more with less and less. We just begin to enjoy our life because we enjoy doing things. We enjoy moving projects. We enjoy moving things from point A to point B. And that is without expectation, we are doing it. Because we have no expectations, we can be joyful. So think about this, because this is a practice. It is a continuing practice. We are not going to get it in one day. We don't have to get it in one day. We may fail 21 times, but if you try it the 22nd time, you're the winner. You just decide, I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to continually do this until I am the winner. Because you're worth it. Because you are beautiful. And if you don't enjoy your inner beauty, if you don't enjoy your capabilities, if you don't enjoy all the strengths you have, then it really doesn't matter if others appreciate it, if others do it or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is you should enjoy it too, because you're worthy of it. You are the source of this. How joyful it is to create something that others enjoy, but you are also enjoying it in the process. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You can do this. Do not ever react to anything. Take a deep breath. Slow down for a minute. Get into that little spark of joy, that little spark of joy, that little tiny little thing that you have for joy that's within you. And just remember that you are a being that holds that joy. Connect with that joy. The more you connect, the more it will grow. Isn't that beautiful? The way we can overcome stress mindfully is first to detach ourselves from expectations of anything that we are going to start. And second, just going into ourselves and then looking into the deep, that little grain of bliss that we all carry within ourselves. And just expand on that. Just glow with that. Because you're beautiful. Because you're wonderful. Because the world needs you. Do not get stressed. Do not get stressed. Even if somebody is talking loudly to you, even if they are saying things that will kind of feel hurtful to you, do not get stressed about it. You can try and explain to them, but if you do not find words that you can help explain the situation, then the best thing for you to do is to go back and find that bliss that is within you and continue to grow that bliss. Always be growing that bliss. There is that soft spot in all of us. There is that clean spot. There is that bliss spot in all of us. We just have to acknowledge it. And the more we connect with it, the more stronger we become. I hope this podcast has been helpful for you. I hope this podcast inspires you to be less stressed about what you're doing. I welcome all your comments. Please subscribe to our channel, share this, send your comments, post your feedback. We read each one of these and we really want to help you. We love you. We are here for you. I will see you in the next week's episode. Until then, this is Rani for the Satvik Method Company. We also have classes. We have started classes now. Please feel free to join us. And you will learn much more deeper truths about all these mindfulness based techniques and consciousness based methods. Until next week, thank you. See you. Bye.